this is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there, live.
Wrestling fans from around the corner and around the world, welcome to Boston Wrestling Sports Wrestling Insider Series. I'm Dan Marotti here at MWF Studios, just north of Boston in downtown Melrose, Massachusetts. Let's check out the January 12th, 2016 edition of TNA Impact from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. TNA had a great opening montage of last week's Heavyweight Championship title tournament finale and Kurt Angle's farewell tour. These are the type of videos that were missing from Destination America, and they really add to the quality of the broadcast, so I tip my hat to TNA and Pop TV for bringing them back. Impact opened up with a strong Ethan Carter, the third promo he put over his championship win, as well as his undefeated streak or his unpinned streak. I don't know how you want to classify that now, where he was a participant in a three-way match he did not win at Bound for Glory. He teased some dissension with Tyrus. Way too soon to go in that direction, in my opinion. Carter had his running buddy Rockstar Spud. They were a pretty good unit, and they split too quick in an angle that went nowhere, as Rockstar Spud is in no man's land. I think him and Tyrus are also a really good unit, and I wouldn't go in that direction to split them up. Again, that's one man's opinion. Jeff Hardy made his way out, and he actually congratulated Carter for getting the win on his own without any interference, and he called him the best wrestler on the planet. Hardy wanted a title match, but Carter said he had to earn his way back to championship contention after spending so much time on the disabled list. Carter yelled to the back to bring someone out to wrestle Hardy to begin his road to a title match, and well-regarded Northeast talent Shinron came out. Carter tried to pump him up, but Hardy came away with a quick victory with his intentions crystal clear that he wanted the title. Jeff Hardy looked good here in his return match, and I thought Ethan Carter was very good on commentary during the matchup itself. In the back, the new-look Dollhouse cut a promo on the beautiful people in Gail Kim. Awesome Kong actually spoke. I hated it. It was just like when Kane spoke for the first time. There's no need for it. It led to a lousy brawl with lots of fake-looking offense, other than when Kong was laying them in. After the breaks, all of the girls were fighting around ringside in what the announcers called a street fight. This was brutal, and I'm not talking about in a hardcore fashion. All I could say to myself when I was watching it was that it was complete garbage. Pointless weapons being thrown around, kendo shots, and the fans couldn't have cared less, as they knew they were watching garbage. As much as WWE, their Diva Revolution was a failure this summer, I can't remember the last time WWE presented their ladies this bad. It was Bush League. It was an insult to a talent like Awesome Kong. Whoever booked this garbage should get a pink slip. The Dollhouse won this giant cluster of a match. Up next was the return of Beer Money, the 85th repackaging of Bobby Roode and James Storm, but this was a very successful team that the fans were into. I think they're much more fresh and interesting teaming than they have been in some of their singles roles. Storm's feud with Mickie James over the summer, that was one of the worst I've seen in 29 years of being a professional wrestling fan. This was a beer bash of sorts, and the fans live, they were really into it. Eric Young came out with Bram, and Young cut an angry promo, and I mean angry. I'm not the world's biggest Eric Young fan, but I thought he was great here. He wanted a shot at the King of the Mountain title. Roode said they were on. After the commercial break, we came back to a championship match. This was another solid bout. Tons of interference from Bram and James Storm. Young won the title after a low blow to Roode and a pile driver. I'm not sure if the King of the Mountain title is supposed to be similar to the WWE's hardcore title or what. There didn't appear to be any sort of disqualification or count-out rules in effect. Ethan Carter and the Miracle Mike Bennett had a stare-down of sorts in the back, as EC3 didn't appreciate the compliment being thrown his way. Bennett's facials made it clear that he'd like the championship around his waist. He makes his in-ring debut next week on Impact with the lovely Maria. Up next was Ken Anderson's talk show, I hated this from the moment it started, and it only got worse the more he talked. He threw the word asshole in there to get the shock factor going, and nobody really cared. Matt Hardy was the guest, accompanied to the ring by his wife, Rebby Sky, and his baby son. It was shades of Ricky Steamboat and Bonnie from 1987. Anderson sat uncomfortably close to Rebby on the couch, while Matt sat on a black folding chair. Matt said the reason he didn't beat Ethan Carter last week was because earlier in the night, in his match with Eric Young, he was pile-driven onto the floor. Anderson said it sounded like he was making excuses. Hardy said he won't stop until he fulfills his destiny of becoming the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Anderson wanted to know if Jeff was doing his dirty work. Matt said all he wanted was one more match with Carter, so he'd be the guy to beat him. Segment was actually better the longer it went on. In six-man tag team action, the TNA Tag Team Champions, the Wolves, and X-Division Champion Tigre Uno defeated Eli Drake, Jesse Goddard, and DJZ. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Eddie Edwards is the guy to go with on the babyface side. He's that damn good. He's younger, he's fresh, and frankly, he's better than what the TNA roster is pushing right now. DJZ started but couldn't get his partners to make a tag. He looked good in a few spots until Goddard tagged himself in from behind. Much better than you'd expect with what the baby faces had to work with in this one. Edwards and Richards are so crisp, so good. For the finish, Goddard had Edwards in a Boston Crab, but DJZ super kicked him for the earlier disrespect. The Wolves hit their finisher. This was a good match. Matt Hardy told Jeff that he was going to make EC3 an offer he couldn't refuse. Carter came back to the ring without Tyrus this time. If it was Vince Russo booking, he would have had Matt offer his wife or his baby for a title match or something ridiculous like that. The actual offer was that if Hardy can't beat Carter, he'd leave TNA forever. Carter agreed to it, and they're on for a last man standing match next week on Impact. In the main event, Kurt Angle defeated Drew Galloway with an angle slam off the top rope. The problem with Galloway is simple. Nobody cares. He should not be in main events, no matter how hard he works right now. These two did have one hell of a match in the first match of the Angle Farewell Tour. I'd love to see matches with more sizzle behind them. But believe me, there was nothing wrong with this match at all. It's just that Galloway isn't at a main event level at this point in time. Can he get there? Perhaps, but there's something missing from him being a top-tier player in TNA or any other promotion right now. Overall, this edition of Impact was pretty good. There were two solid matches that really delivered. EC3 continued to show why he's the best heel in the business. The six-man tag and Jeff Hardy singles matches were fine. Anderson's talk show segment was interesting after it started cringeworthy. The women, however, were pathetic. TNA could not present wrestling that bad on national television. It was an embarrassment. Next Tuesday's show looks interesting enough. I hope you'll tune into Pop TV, as will I. We're happy to announce that WrestleMania weekend will be in Dallas, Texas as part of WrestleCon at the iconic downtown Hyatt Regency Hotel, both April 1st and April 2nd. WWE Hall of Famer Cowboy Bob Orton is the first legend that will be joining us for autographs and posed photos. For complete information and pre-sale options, head on over to the BostonWrestling.com super site. It's going to be a great time in the Big D. Here in the Millennium Wrestling Federation, our work is never done as our support indie wrestling mission continues 24/7. There are many ways you can help the cause, including signing up for a free month of WWE Network. Click on the link below. Enjoy upcoming pay-per-views like the Royal Rumble, exclusive programs, and thousands of hours in on-demand content. At $9.99 per month, it's an outstanding value. Do your shopping with both Amazon.com and WWEshop.com right here, folks. If you use the links below, we get a small kickback of any purchase you make on either site. And the best part is it does not increase your cost one penny. It helps us bring you the most free content in professional wrestling while you shop for the products and memorabilia you want. Don't forget to get social with us. Visit the BostonWrestling.com super site for the latest live event news and deals in the MWF store. You can like us at Facebook.com/MWF Action. Follow us on Twitter at MWF2001 and subscribe to our YouTube channel with over 900 videos absolutely free. All the links are below. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours, be well.